You think your dog comes to you when you cry because they want attention, but that's not what's really happening. In fact, the way your dog reacts when you're sad could be one of the purest emotional responses in the animal world. And there's one specific thing dogs do during these moments that most owners completely misunderstand, even though it says everything about how deeply your dog is connected to you. Have you ever noticed it? You're sitting quietly. Maybe you had a bad day. Maybe nobody even knows you're hurting. But somehow your dog does. They walk toward you slowly. They stare into your eyes. Sometimes they rest their head on you without making a sound. Sometimes they paw at you, or they suddenly refuse to leave your side. And what's strange is they often do this before you even start crying out loud. That's because dogs don't just hear emotions. They feel changes in you long before humans notice them. Your breathing changes. Your scent changes. Even the tension in your muscles changes. And your dog is constantly reading all of it. But here's the part most people miss. When your dog reacts to your sadness, they're not simply reacting to noise or movement. They're responding emotionally. And science has actually started proving this. Researchers discovered that dogs can recognize emotional tones in human voices and facial expressions. Your dog can tell the difference between happiness, anger, fear, and pain. But what they do with that information is what makes this incredible. Because many dogs don't move away from sadness. They move closer. And that instinct says something powerful. See, in the animal world, vulnerability is dangerous. Weakness usually creates distance. But your dog does the opposite. When you're emotionally low, they approach you. They stay near you. Almost like they're trying to absorb some of the pain themselves. And if your dog ever gently leans against you while you cry, that behavior means more than most people realize. Leaning is trust. It's comfort. It's emotional grounding. Your dog is physically telling you you're not alone. But what it means when a dog suddenly stops doing this is something many owners never pay attention to until it's too late. We'll come back to that in a second. First, there's another behavior that reveals just how emotionally attached dogs become to humans. Have you ever cried and your dog suddenly started licking your face or hands? Most people laugh and assume the dog is just being playful. But licking during emotional moments is very different from normal licking behavior. Puppies lick their mothers for comfort and connection. Adult dogs often use licking to calm social tension and emotionally bond. So when your dog licks you while you're upset, they may actually be trying to soothe you the only way they know how. And honestly, that's love in its rawest form. No words, no understanding of your problems, no idea what bills, heartbreak, stress, or loneliness even are. Yet somehow, they still stay. That's what makes dogs emotionally different from so many relationships humans experience. They don't need explanations to care about you. And there's one behavior that becomes even more emotional than licking. Following you. If your dog follows you from room to room after sensing you're upset, it doesn't always mean separation anxiety, like people online claim. Sometimes it means emotional monitoring. Your dog is checking on you, watching your energy, making sure you're okay. Because in your dog's mind, you're their pack. And pack members don't get left alone when they're hurting. But here's where things become deeper. Scientists believe dogs evolved this emotional sensitivity over thousands of years living beside humans. The dogs who understood human emotions better were more likely to survive close to people. Over time, dogs became incredibly tuned into our emotional states, which means your dog noticing your sadness isn't random. It's part instinct, part bond, and part love that has been shaped over centuries. But there's one reaction that emotionally destroys many dog owners when they finally understand it. Sometimes your dog becomes unusually quiet when you cry. No barking, no excitement. They simply sit nearby and watch you silently. And that silence feels almost human. That's because calm presence is often how emotionally bonded dogs respond to distress. Your dog may not know how to fix your pain, but they know you shouldn't experience it alone. And weirdly enough, this is why many people say their dog comforted them better than actual humans during hard times. Because dogs don't interrupt your emotions. They sit with them. If this is changing the way you see your dog, hit like and subscribe. because most people go their whole lives without realizing how emotionally intelligent dogs truly are. Now here's something even more fascinating. Some dogs begin acting differently before their owners cry. Not after, before. They become clingy, alert, gentle, sometimes restless. And scientists think it may be because dogs can detect tiny hormonal and chemical changes linked to stress and sadness. Your body speaks before your mouth does. And your dog is always listening. That's why your dog sometimes walks up to you during moments where you're trying your hardest to pretend you're okay. They already know. But now we need to talk about something painful that many owners ignore. Remember earlier when I mentioned dogs suddenly stopping comforting behavior? Sometimes when dogs stop reacting emotionally, it can signal stress, emotional confusion, illness, aging, or a weakening bond caused by emotional distance and lack of interaction. Dogs are emotional creatures. If they repeatedly feel ignored, disconnected, or emotionally shut out, some dogs slowly stop trying to comfort their owners because they no longer feel emotionally included. And that hurts to hear, because many people don't realize relationships with dogs need emotional attention too. Not just food, not just walks. Connection, presence, affection. Your dog doesn't care how successful you are. They care if you notice them, if you speak to them, if you make them feel safe beside you. And maybe that's why dogs affect human hearts so deeply. Because their love feels uncomplicated, pure, loyal in a way that almost feels impossible today. And there's one final thing that makes this even more emotional. Your dog doesn't understand what crying means the way humans do. They don't know the story behind your sadness. They don't know who hurt you. They don't know what happened. Yet they still choose comfort over distance, again and again. And maybe that's the clearest definition of love there is. Not understanding every detail, but staying anyway. So the next time your dog quietly walks toward you during a hard moment, pay attention. That paw on your leg, that head resting beside you, that silent stare, that isn't just dog behavior. That's communication. Your dog isn't just reacting. They're trying to love you in the only language they know.